So don't worry, it's just on me, not you guys, so you're absolutely fine. Nobody can see you apart from... Yeah, lovely. And we're just going to start by settling ourselves with just a little bit of breath work. So you might want to sit down or you might want to be seated. Whatever's kind of comfortable for you works for me. So just taking a little roll of the shoulders if you're sitting up, or if you're laying down, just get yourself nice and comfy. And I want you to imagine my fingers are between your shoulder blades. So you're starting to peel them back and sit up nice and tall. And if it's uncomfortable to sit on your bum, you can come into kneeling, you can lay down, or you can put some pillows or a little chair under your bottom. So closing your eyes, I just want you to bring your attention to the space between your foreheads. And if you feel like you need some grounding to pull your energy down a little bit, place your hands or face your hands down. If you're also open to receive some energy, palms can be up, so whatever's comfortable for you. So taking a deep breath in into your belly, and we're just going to breathe in for a count of 4, 3, 2, and just hold that breath, just comfortably, just for a few seconds. And as you breathe out, make a little hole in your mouth, and you're going to let the breath go like a balloon letting air slowly out. And you can make a hissing noise, and the slower the breath out, the more you're going to calm the mind. So taking that slow inhale for a count of 4, 3, and just sitting up taller every time, 2, 1, and just hold that breath at the top. And then again, let that small hissing noise out through your mouth. Just focus on the breath so that your mind doesn't wander. So keeping that nice count in for 4. And just holding at the top. And exhaling out that slow hissing down. Just keeping that breathing pattern, and it can be your count of 4, and just try and hold and sit up a little bit straighter and create more space in your spine, and slowly releasing. And as you're breathing in, I want you to imagine the energy pulling up from the base of your spine where you're sitting or laying, all the way up to your belly button, all the way up to your heart, your throat, and then allow that hold at the top, and that gentle release out, allowing yourself to let go. So 2 more breaths like this in your own pace. And as you're breathing in, just imagine new beginnings as you're inhaling, because it's all about the new moon in that new beginning phase for us. Reaching all the way up to your throat, just holding that breath. And as you're releasing, just knowing that the Gemini new moon is also about the air of communication. How you use your voice, the words you might say to yourself, and the words you might say to others. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly start by coming onto our hands and knees. And we're just going to ground ourselves by coming into a toe stretch. So looking at your feet, see if you can sit back and put every single toe on the mat. So you might find you need to separate your toes if they're used to being squished in shoes or socks maybe. And gently on the knees, if it's uncomfortable on the knees, you can put some pillows down. And you're going to come onto your hands and just push your hips back so you can feel that toe stretch, and drop your chin as you're breathing in. And just shift the hips back. And you can tuck the eyes down. The eyes might look towards the belly button, or you might close your eyes. So with the Gemini new moon, you may find that you're in your head a lot. Lots of thoughts could be flying around because the Gemini is associated with the air sign. which is to do with expression, communication, how you think. And when the energy is a lot in our head, it can cause a lot of anxiety, or you can feel a bit unsettled or a bit ungrounded. So by working downwards, we're going to start by pulling the energy down to help to harmonise the body, to really prepare for this new moon chapter. And just thinking about it, sometimes when you think back to when you was a child, you might have found that you really liked being on the floor a lot. It's because it grounds us, it neutralises us. And that's the thing with this Gemini moon. It's also a lot to do with a lot of how we use our technology and what digital technology can do if we're working with it a lot, or perhaps we might be a serial Instagram scroller, because sometimes I catch myself doing that myself. That kind of energy actually brings a lot of positive charge into the body, which ironically is what drains us more. So by working into the toes, we can allow that energy to pull all the way down from our head, down to our feet. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. And again, try and pause at the top. And when you're ready, you hiss slowly out through the mouth, just to calm the central nervous system down. And just check that you're not tensing your face. Perhaps you're clenching your jaw. Where do you hold tension in your body? Because the new moon is about going inwards. What can I do for myself to help balance my energy if I'm always perhaps on the go or worrying? Geminis can be classified as well, that energy about overthinking. Taking one more breath in. And slowly coming forwards, untuck your toes gently, so very gently. And you can either sit on your bum or sit on your knees, and just put the tops of the feet on the mat and just rebound. So we just gently sit up, and we're just going to lift up the heads and just breathing in and allow the energy just to, you might find some tingling in your toes now, so just breathe into it. As you exhale, just allow the shoulders to open a bit more. And thinking of that straight spine as you breathe in, because the straighter the spine, the less blocked our energy tends to get, the healthier the body can be. So slowly coming down onto your bums. We're going to take a seated tree pose. We're going to start by straightening gently the right leg out. And bend the left knee and place the left foot just inside the thigh. If you've got really tight hamstrings, you can put pillows underneath your knee. And we're just going to take a fold gently forwards, and it doesn't have to be dramatic. So I want you to relax your shoulders, maybe give them a little wiggle, and just check in, because a lot of the times the shoulders are where we love to hold tension. So tucking the chin in. So we're just folding over our gallbladder channel. And our gallbladder is attached and associated with our fire in us. Whether it's the fire in your belly to motivate you to get up in the mornings, whether it's the fire in your belly that tells you what's safe and what's not safe. But with the Gemini moon, if we're not grounding ourselves and that fire is burning really intensely, you're going to be starting fires everywhere. So if we can neutralize the fire in us and harmonize the body, we can bring some peace. We can bring some stillness. And when we slow down and listen to ourselves, we can tap into what we actually want to do rather than being on autopilot, rather than just going through the motions. Taking an inhale through the nose, fill all the way up to your throat. Hold the breath at the top, get a little bit uncomfortable. Trust that your body always has enough oxygen. And as you exhale slowly through the mouth, perhaps creep the fingers forward a little bit more and increase the stretch. Listen intuitively to your body. So perhaps you can feel this. You might even feel this down your lower back. That's a sign from your body telling you that your hamstrings are a little bit tight. And we need to work on the posture perhaps a little bit more, maybe give yourself a little bit more stretching. Slowly coming up. And I just want you to cross the legs in a seated position just to rebound. So what we do is we bring the muscles in gradually and we sit up nice and straight, and hopefully each time you sit up a little bit straighter. So breathing in, feeling taller as you inhale up to the sky. And slowly as you exhale through the mouth, allow the shoulders to open a bit more. Legs. Lengthening the left leg out, having a micro bend in your knee if it's uncomfortable. Pressing the other leg, right foot in, not under it, just gently pressing. And just fold forward and relax through the shoulders and drop the chin down. And see if you can notice a difference in the left side or the right. So pull the belly in to create space for you to fold. Keep the breath flowing to release. And we want to start to move the energy from the root, which comes from your feet, all the way up to the base, to ground ourselves, to feel stable, to feel safe. And the more grounded we feel, the more our hearts will tend to open. When our structures around us feel imbalanced, we relax more. We may not be worrying as much. And a fantastic way to really ground yourself is to do this outside. So for instance, yesterday my energy was a little bit all over the place, but I'm not surprised with this moon. So I literally took myself out to the park, laid flat on my back and just allowed the ground to neutralize, because I was well overflowing with too much energy yesterday. I just needed to calm my mind, which normally allows you to be a lot more rational. And Gemini is a curious moon, so it gives you lots of good perspective when you actually stay still and bring yourself back down to earth. Take a long inhale. And as you exhale, maybe you can go a tiny bit further. So again, don't force. Your hamstrings are large muscles, but they're also incredibly delicate. We want to allow the body to relax, to open. We don't force. And what you'll find is naturally you'll be able to go a bit deeper if your body starts to really relax. And again, just checking you're not holding tension in your hands or your face. And slowly coming up into a seated position, just crossing that leg. And just rebound and just, again, see if you can sit up a little bit taller. See if you can create some more space as you're breathing in. And letting go. Because the new moon is also about letting go of old patterns. patterns, old cycles that you no longer want to bring forward into this year. Everything is a choice. Taking a breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to come forwards. I'm just going to go into a wide fold. Now, if this is uncomfortable, you can have your feet together, soles of your feet in butterfly, or you can open your legs out nice and wide. And again, don't force. Those who are more flexible, you might find your legs go open really wide. You might want to put some pillows down in front of you, just to allow yourself to fold. So bring your hands down to support you. Some of you want to go fully down, so just listen intuitively to where your body goes and tuck your chin in. Some of you will be upright. Don't judge yourself, just be here. We spend way too much time passing judgment on what we expect we should be doing, rather than just being in the moment. So again, just check in. Wherever you're holding tension, can you let go somewhere in your feet? So we're just folding and working into our kidneys and our urinary bladder meridian, for those of you interested. And this particular element is based around water. And we are meant to be 60 to 70% hydrated. Our brains function so much better when we're hydrated. Our body operates beautifully. Especially in this weather, if we're not nurturing our bodies, we're basically human plants that move around. So thinking of yourself like a human plant, you wouldn't water a plant and just dump a load of, like a pint of water on it. You'd gradually fill it up, whether it's throughout the day or throughout the week. How much water are you feeding your body? Because water contains wisdom. Water contains memory. So as you're breathing in, just imagine the energy coming from the feet up to the ankles, to the knees, all the way up to your hips. And as you exhale, maybe you can come a bit deeper in that fold, but please don't force. And when these channels get blocked, it can cause a lot of fear. We can hold on to things and people even though we might not necessarily want them in our lives, or they no longer sort of align with who we are. It holds us back from making decisions to possibly be brave and be open. And I'm a stickler for it, of letting go. I decide I don't want something. I usually push it away. And then I have this fear of not having it. And I want it back. Whereas if I could stay true to myself and listen and go in more, what really makes me happy? Does this person, does this place? Or am I settling for something? When I could make a change. It's like I said, everything is a choice. Taking one more breath in here. Now super slowly, coming up onto your hands. I want you to slide your hands under your knees and bring your legs in gently. So think, gently bring them in. So reset yourself. So we bring them in. Like I said, we're not elastic. We're not kids anymore, unfortunately. They're bouncy. We're adults. So roll the shoulders back and down and just breathe in and think of that length in the spine, breathing in from your hips to your heart. And drop the chin down slightly as we exhale through the mouth. Taking one more deep inhale. as we exhale, we're going to come into melting heart pose, also known as puppy pose. I prefer it called puppy because it just sounds cute. So it's not a cute pose to be in, I'm afraid. So like a child's pose, onto your knees. Take them a little bit wider. And if you want to put pillows down as well to support yourself, you can. Pressing into your hands nice and wide. Tilt your bottom up to the sky, and you're going to lower your heart, melt your heart down. Drop the chin down if you've got pillows. You can even put your third eye on the mat. But what we want to do is try and stretch out under the heart as we're breathing in. So if that's too much, you can be up higher. And again, listen to your body intuitively. If this is too much on your knees, put some pillows under them. Allow your heart to melt down and connect to Mother Nature, Mother Earth. And we're just opening up into our heart space, which is where we radiate happiness and love and gratitude. Our heart is the home of our authenticity, the home of our soul, of what we know to be true, with what we desire. So breathe into that space, allow your heart to expand, let the light in. And as you exhale, I want you to imagine any pain or anything that maybe you've been holding on to, allow it to go back into the earth. Allow yourself to harmonise yourself. Give yourself permission to let go, but feel it. Allow it to come through. For those of you that may have heard of Carl Jung, he's an amazing Eastern practice therapist. And a lot of the times we say, I'm not going to think about it, I'm not going to feel it, so we shut our hearts off. Something, it comes through, whether it's in your dreams, whether it's in your nightmares sometimes. That trauma may still be in there, that pain. It's a brave thing to be able to hold space for yourself and allow yourself to feel. But it creates new space in your body, and you will always feel lighter once you've let go of some old pain. Just focusing on breathing into your heart. And as you exhale, breathe the air down your shoulders and your hands, out to your fingertips, into the ground. And perhaps you can feel any tingling sensation or movement in your hips, your arms, your fingers. Just stay connected. Trust how you feel. It's your emotions that normally create a cascade of thoughts. Allow the emotion to come through, but do not engage with the thoughts. We spend too much time in our heads, and this Gemini moon is really going to challenge us to stay grounded, because it is an air element. But the beauty of opening your heart means your heart will communicate with your mind in a much more harmonious manner. Slowly bring your right hand in, and then your left. Bring your knees in and just sit onto your feet. Just take a breath in and out here. So see if you can sit up taller and see if the shoulders do open a bit more. Maybe you feel a bit prouder or a bit straighter in that spine as you're breathing in, knowing that your heart's expanding and radiating out. And as you exhale, just send some energy perhaps down to someone that you may feel need it too. The heart is a powerful energy. Sometimes you might, when you just feel something, and you might not even be in the room with someone, you might feel it through the screen, you might feel it hundreds of miles away. It's a connection. Take a deep breath in. And you're going to slowly come onto your backs. We're going to come into like a banana shape. So start by laying on your back first. And take your arms above your head. What you're going to do is roll towards your left side and try and keep your left bum cheek on the floor. And you're going to curve your spine so you're making like a banana C shape. You might want to cross your ankles. You might need to bring your hand in front of you. And we're just going to gently lay here. And it might not feel like you're doing a lot. But try and rest your ear either on your arm, wherever is comfortable. So you can cross the ankles, you can stack the ankles, and check you can see your feet, so you're making a C spine shape. And just allow the energy from the feet, so maybe let your feet connect and rest on each other and support each other. And allow the energy from your feet to breathe all the way up to your hips, to your water channel. It's going to pass along your fire element up to your heart and all the way down your fingertips. And your hands are an extension of your heart. So next time you find yourself gripping maybe a steering wheel or grabbing something really tightly, perhaps you'll find yourself clenching your jaw as well, and that could be a lot of anger that you're suppressing without realizing. This channel helps control your regulation of your water flow. It can also be connected to a sadness and a grief, also a sense of beauty. So perhaps you've been outside a bit more and you've been a bit more observant of how beautiful the nature is at the moment. How much difference does it make having the sun? When you're outside, are you stopping to see? Or are you too busy to notice? Are you rushing every breath in? Because when we breathe in too much and don't slow the exhale, that keeps us in anxiety mode. By taking a pause on life, and even holding your breath for a second and allowing the energy to slowly come out, it's going to allow you to come out of stress mode. And that's when sometimes it can feel like we're finally awake and we can see what's around us. We can see the beauty. But when there is a lot of, maybe a sense of loss or a lot of sadness, and you're unable to express your grief, that's when our hearts can close off and we can really get stuck in patterns. So just breathing in from the soles of the feet, allow you to come home to yourself. And this particular channel is also linked to our inner child, for those of you that have heard of that terminology. That little version of you that likes to come out when perhaps stuff goes wrong, or for me, when I can't handle something, I used to throw my toys out of the pram, and it literally was like I was a child having a mini tantrum when I was a full-blown adult. But ironically, that little child is trying to tell us sometimes something because we're not listening. It's a chance to almost go back to being more childlike, and that's what they say. If you want to enjoy life a little bit more, how could you listen to that little inner child and be a little bit more playful? Slowly laying on your backs, just a mini shavasana, just to release slowly, because it's quite an intense stretch without realizing. It's a big channel to open. So just breathing in from the feet. Check the shoulders haven't come up to your ears. And as you exhale, give yourself permission to let your back just melt down into the ground. And taking your arms above your head, gently rolling to the other side. So making a gentle C shape. And you can cross your ankles if you want. front and rest your ear on your arm. So make sure you can see your toes, so you're curving that spine round very gently. Allow yourself to feel anything that wants to come through and don't pass any judgment. Aristotle said or wrote that the heart is the seat of our wisdom. It's the ruling organ of the brain. It's where our soul sits. But when there is intense anger and grief, it can damage the heart. And fantastic ways to bring and balance the heart chakra and that heart energy it's really simple. You can hug yourself, you can hold yourself, you can create space for yourself. That's why a lot of people like having pets. And sometimes as well, like yesterday I went out and I gave my tree a hug, and you actually release oxytocin, which is a proven happy hormone that your heart produces. You can literally give yourself self-love whenever you want. Heart is what receives your intuition feelings. It's what senses things first. If you're attuned to your heart and your intuition, it will give you access to information outside of the normal dynamics. It's just that Western society nowadays, the brain is supposedly superior. However, if we allow the emotions without engaging the thoughts too much and giving ourselves compassion, we can begin to heal. We can restore our bodies and harmonise our minds. And if you're interested, breath work, tapping is fantastic. It's a great way to pull energy out. Havening, if you've heard of havening. And meditation helps to shift the heart and brain communication. Focusing on the heart activates compassion and radiates self-love for yourself and also for others. But it takes practice. If you're always in your head and you're trying to meditate, it's a muscle. It takes time to conquer. But you don't want to conquer it, you want to explore it. Because the more you practice this state of mind and allow the heart to be more, not in charge, but to work in harmony with the rest of your body, you'll feel more appreciation and gratitude and care and compassion. And it only takes 3 days to make a gentle shift, believe it or not. 3 days. So when you're ready, you can either come into a seated position or stay laying down. And I'm just going to take you through just a little meditation. So coming into a space which suits you. If you want to sit up straight, that's fine, and just keep the eyes closed. Sometimes it's nice to put the hand on the heart if you're laying down, or you can have your hands down on your knees, whatever works for you. And just take a gentle inhale through the nose and breathe all the way to your heart, and allow your heart and feel the heart open as you're breathing in. And as you're exhaling, just breathing out through the mouth slowly. Just like a soft summer breeze as you're breathing out. Allow your shoulders and your face to relax. And as you're breathing in, just thinking of opening your heart for all the positive new things that are coming soon into our lives. And I want you to bring to mind what you wish to release as it no longer serves you anymore. So perhaps thinking back to something that you want to let go of under this new moon, because it's a great time to let go to release any patterns you might be keeping yourself in. So taking a breath in, and as you're exhaling, just letting go. And for example, I used to worry a lot about the future. Being a Virgo, I love to plan. I love making lists. I had a schedule for everything in my life. And then the world changed overnight last year. And there was a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress around that. But you know what? We're all sitting right here, right now, because we're all warriors. We've kept ourselves safe, and it might not have been the easiest ride. Some of us have broke through on a different level and seen a different path. But what is it that perhaps you want to let go of under this particular energy? Leave you to take a few breaths in and out here and just thinking, and allow anything to come through without any judgment, no shame, no guilt. Just feel it. Don't engage with it. As you exhale, just maybe saying out louder in your mind, I love and accept myself. One more time, deep breath in. Exhaling out, I love and fully accept myself. This will allow you to lift your energy and to provide space for any emotions that may need to come through. And the Gemini qualities, Gemini is very open-minded. It's a very curious energy, especially for new things. And what we can work on with this particular energy is being flexible and adapting to new situations with curiosity rather than overthinking them all the time. Perhaps ask yourself, where can I allow myself something new to enter my life? Perhaps it's changing something really little in a routine can have a massive difference. So for example, you know, if you wake up in the morning and your alarm's going off and you keep snoozing that button, but you're also in your head a lot and you never get time to chill, perhaps that's something really small that you could shift those 5 minutes, doing the 5-minute breath meditation or a 5-minute guided meditation in the morning to start your day. I mean, perhaps if you're in the car a lot or you're on public transport, listen to a podcast or something to lift your energy, to be a bit more doing something that might be for you, something that settles you. I listened to a guy, he's amazing, called the Mindset Mentor. He's really changed a lot of stuff for me. So where could you perhaps do something in a slightly different way, not massive, but to cause a small change? I mean, perhaps you're on your phones a lot. Perhaps you could switch the phone off and actually turn the phone physically off for an hour. When was the last time you did that in the middle of the day? Probably not for a while unless your battery died. Because Gemini is all about communication and it is all about social technology. technology and the internet and how we communicate, and especially at this time, a lot of us are communicating, as we know, virtually. It's also a good time to think, how can I also be out in the earth more to keep myself grounded? You know, do you even switch your phone off at night? Are you checking your emails after you finish work hours and hours later because your notifications are going off? So I want to just try a mind game, because Gemini is about being curious, and it's going to help hopefully create some space in your mind for you to look at things in a different light. So I want you to, those of you that can visualize with your eyes closed, so I want you to think of an object and just allow it to come to mind. And if you can't see anything, just feel something and allow whatever pops in, whether you can see it or feel it, and without trying to change it or judge it, I just want you to observe it. I want you to become the observer. Don't question it, don't ask why it's there. Just watch it. How does it make you feel, maybe? Be curious. To just change it to something else. Just allow it to shift, because energy shifts, our thoughts can shift instantly, things can pop up, and it might be something you didn't even want to think about. Just let it be there. Observe it. A lot of the times when things do get presented to us, whether it's in real life or in our mind's eye, we can absolutely annihilate it, react to something, and actually if we just took a step back to observe it sometimes and recognize it's totally harmless, or perhaps it's us blowing things out of proportion, that bit of space before you perhaps open your mouth or react or hit a send on an email could create that space barrier to create flexibility, to have a choice rather than regret sometimes. Why did I say that? Why did I send that? Why didn't I sleep on that? And Gemini is really around the air elements. So we are going to be in our minds a lot. And this is a great way to create space. I want you to think of one more object or thing. And if you can't see it, just feel it. Where does your mind take you to? Just be curious, be playful. Put a smile on your face. Just create space. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, I'm just going to say a mantra out loud, and if you want to repeat it in your mind's eye or out loud, bring it to yourself, because like I said, it's about communication. Taking a breath in, and as we exhale, I allow myself to transform continuously. Again, you don't have to repeat it out loud, you can say it internally. Let's do that again. Take a breath in. I allow myself to transform continuously. I allow myself to be curious about everything. I observe with curiosity without judging. And just allow yourself this flexibility in the mind, and the curiosity, because a lot of the time the thoughts create the story, and then the thoughts keep going and the mind keeps racing. So by able to feel the emotion without judging it and being curious, so investigating it, because like I said, Carl Jung said, what we resist will persist and it will come. So the more you sit and hold space for yourself, the more these things will pass through and you will feel lighter eventually. It's like a shedding of skin, like a snake would shed skin. It's an opportunity for you to shed any old emotions that you might not even realise you're holding on to. Taking a deep breath in. As you exhale, just repeating out loud or internally, I awaken the truth of my being. I embrace the truth of my soul. I move in the direction of the life that I desire. I'm creating a new life, a new chapter, which is full of hope and new ideas. So taking a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just letting go. And just gently stretch your arms above your head or wiggle your fingers, whatever feels good. Good, and bringing the arms down. So if you are doing the journaling as well and you want to grab a pen and paper, I'm going to give you some journal prompts just to work on this particular moon. So this particular moon is a twin sign and it's all about new beginnings and inward energy. But the energy is going in because it's the dark moon. So you might have found that your energy has been a bit wavering lately. It's going down because the moon's basically we're going into the dark phase. So we're in the dark phase, the new moon is hitting tomorrow. So it's a fantastic time to set your intentions, because in 2 weeks' time we're going to have the full moon, which is when the energy is going to be like absolute maximum potential. So it's a great time as well to make new beginnings, but we may also have some news and some information that might be a bit unexpected because we are in Mercury retrograde as well. Nothing to panic about, because by being curious, rather than thinking, oh my God, why is this happening? We are going to start to have the awareness to think, maybe this is a lesson, or maybe this is something that I can investigate and be curious about. It's an opportunity as well to be quite quick thinking and communicate through the air, like I said, through the internet and globally. And when things may come up in this particular Mercury retrograde, rather than letting the thoughts control everything, it's an opportunity to root down and think, what is potentially causing me to feel like this? Because if you can pause, you can respond very differently, and that flexibility will allow a different perspective before you might speak or act. So for example, I spoke to my dad today and he was telling me he had an argument with someone at work, and my dad's not normally like that. So I was like, Mercury is in retrograde, but why did he react like that? Well, actually, he hasn't had a day off all week and he's knackered and it's the heat, whereas normally he wouldn't respond like that. So I want you to think about, just find my notes, sorry. What could you do? Perhaps something from your childhood, something that maybe you haven't done for a long time, to allow yourself to come back to yourself and ground yourself a bit more, to give yourself a bit more self-love or self-care. So for example, like I said, I went outdoors yesterday and I had the opportunity just to literally lay over the park and just be like a big kid. And I literally just laid on the grass and I soaked up as much sun as I could. So I want you to think about, what could you do? And like I said, a lot of us have had digital technology. So as a kid, did you have it? Was you outdoors more? Perhaps you need to, like I said, be off the technology a little bit or come off technology a little bit earlier before bed. So what could you possibly implement for yourself in this particular energy? Something like, when was the last time you did, I used to love an arrow word or a crossword. When was the last time you actually stimulated your mind like that and actually put pen to paper and did a mind puzzle? It feels very different when you use a piece of paper. Perhaps you're being called to do a bit of blogging, writing down. As a kid, some of us used to keep diaries. This is why we're journaling, to release the energy. Perhaps you've got some stuff that you want to get out there. Even want to burn it afterwards. You might not even want to read it, but sometimes putting pen to paper is really powerful. So under this particular moon, like I said, it's a great time to set intentions. So do you have an idea or a creation or even a new ritual or a new hobby that you might want to start or pick up again? Has something been calling you, especially because Gemini is the social butterfly of us? It's about being adventurous. Perhaps there's people that you might want to spend time with to gain some more knowledge or be around. Perhaps there's people you might want to connect with. Might even be family that you haven't spent as much time with or had chance to sort of express how you want to be around each other. Because this particular sign can really nudge you to follow your intuition. So for example, I'm really feeling drawn to, obviously flying around is a little bit of an issue at the moment, so I'd really quite like to explore the UK a little bit. Is there something that you're being drawn to? Perhaps ready for summer? That you could bring in and start now? It could be even as simple as maybe reading a book, changing something. And I want you to also think about, how could I move my body differently maybe? How often do you dance? How often are you putting music on and being in yourself and exploring that side to you? So what could you do to sort of, because a lot of the time when the energy's in the mind, and that Gemini, like I said, the energy's going to be up in the mind a lot. How could you bring the energy down? So dancing it out is a great way, because what it will do is disperse the energy down. Animals will shake their bodies, not because they're scared, because they're trying to ground themselves, and that shaking will pull the energy down. Is there something that you could start doing? Moving your body in a way, maybe doing a bit more yoga, maybe taking up a different class or being outdoors on the grass and moving in a certain way. How could you bring the energy from your mind back down? Because if you're working, then you're sitting on the sofa, and then you're going to bed, and then you're getting up. Can you imagine that energy gets very stuck? So just think about it logically. If you're always in your mind, how can you bring that energy back down to share it throughout your body? Because it must be exhausting being in your head all the time. And I want you to think about taking some actionable steps. So actually thinking, right, it's one thing to say I'm going to dance more, but how are you going to actually action this? How are you going to action? What would you need to do, say, weekly. So if you're thinking I want to move more or I want to journal more, what could you be doing to change it in your week? So for example, maybe you need to get up a bit earlier. Maybe you need to finish work when you're actually meant to finish it, because also I know working from home means that sometimes you end up working way longer than you mean to because you feel a bit guilty because you're at home maybe. Maybe when you're travelling to work, if you're not working from home, you could be listening to a podcast or reading a magazine or doing a mind puzzle rather than scrolling through. Not that I'm saying you do, but maybe you're doing that as a distraction. So how could you shift the energy weekly, for example? Maybe it could be like on a Monday, I'm going to just get up 20 minutes earlier to do this. You don't need to do it 7 days a week. You don't need to be extra, because that's what we do as humans, we all or nothing. So think about how could I implement something gently into my routine without overwhelming myself as well, because we're all human and we all have the best intentions sometimes to start, but it doesn't always necessarily mean we're all, sometimes we can be all or nothing. So just thinking, how could I implement that in my week? And now thinking on a monthly scale. Now let's skip forward 4 weeks. So for example, I said I would like to maybe explore the UK a little bit more. So I might make a little list and be like, right, I'm going to do some research this month. You know, maybe I'm going to research by the end of the month. I want to find some places to stay or where I'd like to go. So, you know, if you want to learn something new or you wanted to start something different, you might need to make a purchase to begin it, or you might need to look into courses and stuff. So thinking on a monthly scale now, let's fast forward as if it was 4 weeks' time. What would you have liked to have achieved on that possible new routine or new goal? You might be like, well, I'm meditating once a week now and it's become a habit and I'm doing it more frequently throughout the month. So just having a little think. And one thing I would like, well, I say I would like, so because Gemini is all about communication, it's also about how you express your communication. So something lovely about sharing energy is you can just send energy to someone, but sometimes it's really nice if you actually pay it forward. So perhaps there's someone that you need to tell you appreciate, or perhaps there's someone that really inspires you and you want to connect with them. Perhaps you could write a nice, like a review on a product. One thing I love to do is I love to support a lot of local businesses, and I really appreciate them because sometimes it's lovely to be in a community where you can help each other out and share energy, because we can't always afford to be doing certain things. So, and if you're not someone that wants to necessarily speak to someone or speak out, perhaps you could be a connector, or perhaps you might be someone that would, oh, you know what, that person would really love to connect with that person, or that'd be really useful for that person. Because a lot of the times when we're in our heads, we might not be thinking of others. So just thinking about it, doesn't have to be right now, but where could you maybe send some appreciation or do something for someone to show your appreciation for them? And just finally, like I said, this moon is, because it's a new moon phase, it's an opportunity to break old habits or patterns. So I'll give you an example. Yesterday, those of you that know me, I had a bit of a meltdown because old habit background for me is I had an eating disorder growing up, and whenever things used to go wrong, I would not eat, or I'd eat my feelings. And yesterday I was feeling something triggered me, and I decided to punish myself and weigh myself, because I know that's the one thing that can take the external situation and make it really internal for me so I don't care about what's going on externally and then I hurt myself internally. I don't want to do that anymore, so I decided yesterday that I don't want the scales in my house anymore. I decided to break free because I'm sick of it ruling my life. What old patterns or old habits, and you might not think of anything right now, do you not want to carry forward anymore? Because I want you to give yourself permission to let that shit go. It could be something simple like not believing in yourself or believing you're worthy. What is it that you hold yourself back from? Or what pattern may you be keeping yourself in, whether it's with yourself, a partner, It could be a pattern that you're repeating, learnt from parenting or ancestors. So like I said, we're going to create flexibility in the mind to be able to decide whether we want to react like that anymore. Just finally, just for a piece of homework, they say one of the most powerful ways to manifest your reality is to script it out like it's already happened. So you don't have to do this right now, don't worry. I want you to think about, maybe tonight or tomorrow, you might want to sleep on it, scripting about one or more of your new moon intentions. So for example, like I said, I want to kind of explore the UK. So I was writing down where I'd like to go, what my camper van might look like, where I'm going to go see, what I want to go learn, what I want to explore. So you don't have to do this right now at all. It might be, I don't know, creating something new, a new business or something, where you might already have it in the pipeline. You might want to just go to a load of different festivals and make the most of the summer this year. But I want you to think about tonight or tomorrow, especially tomorrow because it is the actual new moon tomorrow, scripting stuff out like it's happened and make it as detailed as you can because it's quite cool when you do this. And then you're going to fold it up and you're going to put it under, if you've got crystals, you're going to put some crystals on top of that. And if you don't have crystals, you could just light some incense just to sort of cleanse the space. And you're going to leave that there for about 3 days because the new moon energy is powerful for about 3 days prior and 3 days after. So this is a really powerful time to manifest what you want. And be specific, because sometimes when you're not specific, because I do a lot of manifesting for my friends that say, I want to meet a partner, Amy. And they're like, are you sure? And they tell me what they want. So this is, you could do this as well if you want to manifest a partner. You have to be really, really, really specific and really, really ready for that as well. So, thinking about something, so just jot this down. You're going to script something out that you really desire to happen. It doesn't have to be this year. It might be something that comes true over, I don't know, remember, we can't just all click our fingers. Sometimes that happens, but we've also got a bit of reality with us. And then you're going to write it out and you're going to put your crystals or some sort of incense and you're going to put it somewhere that you, like a clean, safe space, and just leave it there. And if you don't want a partner or someone to see it, if you live with someone, just obviously make it a little bit more discreet. And you're going to leave it there for about 3 days. And then after that, you're going to set it free. So you can burn it, you can, I don't like saying bin it, so maybe burn it, and just set it off to be free so the universe receives it and then detach from it. So, when you are ready, if you're laying down, come up to a seated position, but you should be sitting up anyway, hopefully. Be impressive if you're right and laying down. I want you to turn your palms up to the sky, breathe in that from the earth and connect all the way up to that air energy around us. Good, and then just bring the energy down, back down to the ground. Good, do that again. So we're harnessing the energy, bringing the energy from the ground, connecting it all the way up through the channels. Bring your palms together and and just bring them all the way to your third eye, the space between your foreheads. Your intuition, you're always knowing, you're seeing. To your lips for your communication, whether it's to yourself, to others, and to your heart. Namaste. Thank you for your energy and thank you for your time tonight. I have recorded this, not you guys, don't worry, I've recorded myself, so I will be putting it up on YouTube if you've missed any journal prompts or if you want anything extra. Have a wonderful evening. Please feel free to message if you've missed anything, and I'll see you all soon. Enjoy the new moon. See you later. Well done.